Hey, everybody, it's Paul here from Better Call Paul. Finally got to meet the GOAT and his beautiful wife. So that's Adrian and Erica from Passive Income Investing. Finally got a t shirt from them. What a wonderful couple. I owe a lot to them. I started following their channel back in 2020. And, I've molded my portfolio over the last 5 years into what it is today. And so I'm going to go over my portfolio with everybody. And just remember, guys, this is my financial journey. This is my life. Okay. It's my portfolio. I'm not a licensed financial planner. So I'm not in any way giving you advice. Hopefully this is entertainment, but also somewhat educational and kind of like a platform for you guys to, start working on your own portfolio and investigate these options for investing, because I really strongly believe in passive income investing, specifically covered call ETFs. All right, guys. So hold on a second. We're gonna jump into the first screen here. So just really quickly, portfolio makeup. I have two tax-free savings account, one with Wealthsimple and one with RBC. At some point in time, I might combine the two, but for right now, I'm keeping them separate, and I'm doing a real life case study with my RBC account. But between the two, you can see I currently have 232,000 in my tax-free savings account, which I think is pretty good, considering the limitations. You can only put in so much every year, and mine's currently maxed out. My RSP, I have an account with Wealthsimple, and I have a smaller one with RBC, which I am trying to move to Wealthsimple. I keep calling RBC. I finally had to set up a meeting in person because for some reason they don't seem to want to transfer the money over. But I have a total of 168,492 in my RSP. I do wish it was a little bit higher, but it is what it is. And eventually I'd like to move as much as that possible into my TFSA so that I'm not taxed on it. I also have a non-registered account right now with Wealthsimple of $25,000. And my plan is to move all of that into my TFSA in 2026. So hopefully with a combination of the new room given to us in January, hopefully around $7,000, plus the withdrawals that I've made from my TFSA, there'll be enough room for me to move the money into there. And then I won't be paying tax anymore on the income that it's generating, which right now is about $600 a month. So it's not too bad. And I also opened up a Wealthsimple checking account. So what I do is every month when I get money from my non-registered account, I just move it into my checking account, and then I can spend that whenever I want to. So you can see right now, guys, as of Friday, which was September 27th, my portfolio was almost at an all-time high of 426,279. It was up 6.88% from the close in August of 398,840. So September has definitely been a good month for, I think, everybody, not just myself. So you can see, guys, just to show over time, right? Back in 2023, my portfolio ended the year at 275,000. 2024, it was up to 371, and now it's up to 426. So even though I'm an income investor, even though I have covered call ETFs, my portfolio is growing. Okay, and that's the main thing. I'm not worried about how much it's growing. I'm just happy that it is growing, if that makes sense. All right, guys, I've shown this before to everyone, but this is my dividend tracker that I made. I've had a few people ask if I could share it, and I would share it with you if I really knew how. This is in Google Sheets. I don't know how to copy and just kind of like paste it so that you guys can have it without, I guess, having access to my Google Sheets. So, but it's really not hard to make, to be honest with you guys. Just the columns, I put in the numbers. You can see every month, across the top is just the months of the year and the portfolios that I have. And then every month I just put in the, look at here, I'll click on September. You can see I've just added in the distributions that I got in my Wealthsimple TFSA, and it comes up with this number. So not a hard spreadsheet to make if you want to make one. But you can see here that back in January of this year, my dividends were 75, almost 7,600. right? They went down to 72, back to 76, 74, then took a massive jump in May up to 9,700, and then back down to 92, back up to 97. And then finally in August, for the first time, I broke the $10,000 mark, almost hit 11,000. But I was at 10,820. Of course, August had 5 weeks. So, you could say that, well, to be honest with you, I hit 10,000 before the fifth week. So the fifth week was the $820. So this month, September, I did break 10,000 again, made 10,199. And I'm really hoping for October. There's 5 Fridays in October. I'm really hoping to break 11,000. So we'll see if I can get there. I'm going to do whatever I can to make it happen. So we'll see if that happens. One thing I'd like to point out here, you guys can see I created this down here, year over year change and percentage change. So this is basically saying that in January, I made my dividends, my distributions were 92% higher than the year before. Right? So January, February was 85%, 79%, 62%, 119%, 84%. So you can see every single month in 2025, I made more money than I made the year before. And you can see down here, I show all my distributions that I've earned from 2020 all the way up to 2025. And it's been a gradual growth, but you can see it's been a consistent growth. And year over year, the growth has been actually quite incredible. Over here on this side, you can see that the first year I only made 1,800, jumped up to 13, 22,000, 35,000. And last year was 65,000 was my best year. And this year I'm already at 79,000 and still 3 months to go. So very happy about that. All right, so in September, I did a little bit of buying and some selling. Of course, I like to reinvest my distributions or my dividends almost as quickly as I get them. Sometimes I might wait a week or two just to see if there's a dip in the market, but otherwise I like to keep the money making more money. And sometimes I do sell the odd position or trim a position. So you can see that I did sell 50 shares of YMAG to buy some more Alti and some WDTE. And basically what I've said was that if YMAG is paying less than 10 cents, I will sell off another 50 shares. So if it keeps performing poorly, I will eventually eliminate this position. If it does well, then it'll remain in my portfolio. Bank, I did end up selling 400 shares of Bank. ENCL, I sold 281 shares. And PLTE, I sold 100 shares. So if you look down here, right here, you can see I sold the 400 shares of Bank to buy 130 shares of Biggie. Okay, I sold 100 shares of PLTE to buy 100 shares of MSTE and 60 shares of Biggie. And I sold 281 shares of ENCL to buy 210 shares of Biggie. Now, all three of these, Bank, PLTE, and ENCL, were positive, right? PLT was the best. I made a 70% capital gain, plus I think just over 400 in dividends I earned on that 100 shares. Bank was up as well, but I can't remember how much it was up. And ENCL had just finally broken even. So I was buying more shares to dollar cost average or bring my share price down. And I knew eventually it would get back up to a break-even point. Of course, the reason why I sold those and bought MSTE and Biggie was to increase my monthly income. So my goal is to get to $15,000 a month, and sometimes you have to make these adjustments in order to do that. Otherwise, guys, I bought TDAC as I said I would. I have 500 shares of T-SPY, and eventually I'd like to have 500 shares of TDAC. I'm kind of waiting for the market to dip a little bit so that I can buy them under my cost. I bought $500 worth of the Harvest Shopify single stock ETF with the ticker SHPE. And then I bought another $500 of the new 9 points one. So what I'm doing is I'm going to compare the two. So I'm buying them in exact equal amounts, dollar amounts, on the exact same day at the same time. So eventually I'm going to see which one is outperforming the other. I did buy some more Alti, just 100 shares. I added a little bit to my Q day. Now I am buying more shares of QQQY because I want to bring down my average cost. And I think Defiance has actually improved this ETF. And I think by buying more shares, I'll be able to prove that. I had bought some ENCL before I sold because that's what I was doing. I was dripping it. Like I said, I bought 420 shares of Biggie. So that's a good position for me now. I did add some S Day. I will add Q Day and S Day whenever they're down. I bought some MST. Obviously, it's down quite a bit. So, selling 100 shares of PLTE, I was able to buy 100 shares of MST, and they have the same distribution, but I bought it at like half the price. I started a position in Canny. So I got 30 shares. I also started positions in blocks, WPay, and I added one share to my PLTW position. So just quickly, basically future plans, my non-registered account, I'm going to keep withdrawing 100% of the distributions. My Wealthsimple TFSA USD, so my American account, I'm going to start buying QDTE. I was buying YMAX, but now I'm going to add to my QDTE position because it pays weekly. And I'm going to kind of like over the next 3 months evaluate my Coney, MSTY, NVIDIA, and TSLY positions. And if they're not outperforming QDTE, then I'm going to sell them off and I'll just put the money in QDTE. In my Canadian TFSA account with Wealthsimple, I'm going to keep adding to the Shopify ETFs, providing that they're on sale. And I'm also going to buy Canny, and then I'm going to start a position in Harvest's HHIC. Now for my USD, my RRSP USD account, I want to start a daily snowball portfolio. I'm sure a lot of you have seen on Blossom that some of the guys are doing this. Specifically Andy Passive Income. I'll give a shout out to him because his posts are fantastic. He updates us with every distribution you could possibly think of. And he's talking about his daily snowball portfolio. So I'm gonna work on mine as well. In my Canadian RSP account, I'm going to continue adding to my Q Day and S Day. I like these ones from Hamilton. They pay twice a month. And the yields have been really good. And I think the underlying holdings are great as well. My RBC TFSA account, this is my real life case study. So I'll do another video on that account specifically, what's in the account. I'm withdrawing $1,000 a month, and we're testing this to see whether or not the account will sustain itself. I am still trying to move my RBC RSP account over to Wealthsimple, but I've called them. They keep telling me they're going to do it, and anyways, I've set up an appointment, so I'm going to go in and talk to somebody and get it done. Also have to renegotiate my mortgage, so hopefully my interest rate's going to drop quite a bit, which is nice. Now I have, since I lost my job, I have been tracking my expenses more closely. So I have my fixed expenses, which are not too bad and only add up to $2,000, just under $2,000 a month. And then I have my variable expenses. So I've been tracking how much I actually spend on things like gas, miscellaneous. I put 500 for my vacation fund. And in total, we only have a couple of days left in September, but right now I'm just over 3,500. So it's really not a lot when you consider that my portfolio is generating about $10,000 a month. I think I have a lot of like a safety net in there. As Perry had suggested, you should try to earn 2 or 3 times the amount of your bills with an income portfolio. Then that way you can reinvest a large portion of it. So a lot of people have asked me to show what my positions are, and I did this last month, so I'm going to do it again. I probably won't spend as much time as I did last month on it, but for anybody, I do have Canadian and US. All the Americans ones are down here. The Canadian ones are up here. So for anybody in the sort of covered call ETF space, you probably recognize a lot of these names. So I think I'll just go through the tickers. You can see I have from Harvest, I have HHIS, MSTE, NVHE, CNYE, TSLY, LLHE, PLTE, and now I just added, the ones in yellow are new, so I just added SHPE, and I have HPYT or Happy T as well. Some of these are massive positions for me. HHIS, I have $55,000 worth, so this is 12% of my portfolio. MSTE, I have $47,000 worth, so this is 10% of my portfolio. And you can see that on an annual basis, they pay me, $14,000 and $19,000, which combined is what's that? 1177 and 1595. So it's a good bulk of my monthly portfolio just coming from those two ETFs. And then you can see that my Nvidia position here, my coin position, Tesla, and even the Eli Lilly one are all fairly large positions as well. So this is a new one, as I mentioned before, also from 9 Point Partners. This is not a new company, but they're new in the covered call ETF space. So I decided to buy their Shopify one because Shopify is a big tech company in Canada, and I have no exposure to it. So I decided to jump in on that. And I will be comparing it with the Harvest version. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see which strategy is better. I do have quite a large position in ENCL from Global X. Now this, so I have 24,000 remaining. I did sell off 281 shares after I broke even, just to buy some higher yielding positions. I wanted to build up my biggie position, so I sold off some of these, but I still have quite a large position. Then from Evolve, I have a couple of my favorites, which are Bank and Utes. So you got your 10 Canadian financials and 22 Canadian utilities. So I still think these are pretty important positions. If Bank drops below $8, I will probably add to my position. But for right now, I'm just leaving it at 1,000 shares. And Utes, if it goes up above my average cost, I might trim it a little bit. But for right now, I'm just collecting the dividends. So two new positions for me. The very popular Biggie, which is a competitor now to HHIS from Harvest. And I bought the Canadian version, which is Canny. So I like the all-in-ones. And so these are two all-in-one ETFs, giving you exposure to both the US and Canadian market. Now, one of the oldies but a goodies, I guess you could say, or oldie but a goodie, is HYLD. So I still have 1,000 shares of HYLD. And if it drops below my average cost, I will add to this one as well. And then I decided to jump in on Hamilton's two new funds, which are, well, there's three of them, but I picked the two American ones, Q-Day and S-Day. So you get exposure to tech stocks and US dividend stocks. Now, I still have some positions with purpose. One of them being fairly large is YTSL. I still have 1,300 shares, and this one's doing extremely well. My average cost is quite low, and it's done well recently. I think it went up to almost $25 a share, and I have my 1,600 shares of ETH, which has dropped a little bit in price recently, but still paying a consistent yield, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't increase it based on how well it's done recently. So guys, that's my Canadian listed positions. I don't know if there's anything in there that I will get rid of completely, but I do like to trim from time to time and take the money to move into other positions. So my US stocks or ETFs, I have two from Rex Shares. I have AIPI and FEPI. I've had these ones for quite a while now. I don't think they're quite as popular as they used to be, but they pay at the end of the month. I really like getting that added income near the end of the month. I haven't had any issues with them. They did drop a little bit, obviously, back in April and haven't quite recovered 100%, but they're still paying out their distribution rate, which is 35 and 25%. So I don't have a problem with these guys. I honestly I would consider looking at them. And then I have quite a few of the yield max funds. So I still have AMSI, Coney, Phoebe, Misty, NVIDIA, and TSLY. These are the monthlies. Now, as far as my daily snowball portfolio goes, it would probably be better to have weekly as opposed to these monthlies, although they are in groups. So you get some of them each week, but not all. So I'll have to evaluate these as well and see, if they're underperforming the other funds that I'm buying now, then I might sell some of these off and replace them. I do still have YMAG, which is the Mag 7 companies, right? I still have 250 shares. And YMAX, my goal was 1,000 shares, which I do have now, 1,000 shares of YMAX. I think YMAX is a good ETF to have. It's unfortunate though that the groups don't all pay consistently, right? So some weeks are a lot better than others, and fluctuates quite a bit, but it's all right. Alti, I am at 1,550 shares of Alti. I did say my goal was 2,000 shares, but I haven't been really working on it recently. If the opportunity presents itself, I might buy some more, but for right now, I have other things that I'm working on. I have a couple of Roundhill ETFs. Actually, I have three now. I put one at the bottom. So I've had PLTW and QDTE for a while now. PLTW, I'm up 49%. So I haven't really been adding to it, but I think I'm going to start adding to it again because that'll be my Tuesday payer in my daily strategy. QDTE, like I said, I'm going to keep adding to in my TFSA, my US listed TFSA account. I do like Defiance's Target 20 ETFs. So there's QQQT and SPY-T. I have 200 of QQQT and SPY-T. I actually bought some more, so now I'm at 235, and I might add to that position. We'll see. But I have no problems with these two. They're kind of like AIPI and FEPI. I don't worry about them at all. It just the distributions keep coming, and I don't have a lot of problems with the price fluctuation. From Defiance, I also have QQQY and WDTE. These two, unfortunately, both crashed when they initially came out. There was a lot of NAV erosion. Fortunately, the fund provider has fixed that, and now they're more steady, they're more stable, their share price, and the distributions are not as high, but they're more consistent. So I am currently adding to QQQY. I was at 29 shares, 25. I was at 25 shares, and now I'm at 45. So I'm going to continue building this one until I have 100 shares, and then we'll see where my price is compared to my cost, and how much I've earned in distributions. And then I'll debate whether or not I'm going to keep it or sell it. One of my favorites is Tap Alpha's T-SPY. So like I said, I bought 500 shares of this. And the only reason why I stopped buying it is because now I'm buying their NASDAQ version, which is TDAC. And I will buy this on the dips. I'm not going to rush into it. When the market drops a little bit and this goes below my average cost or close to it, then I'll add more. But definitely my goal is to get to 500 of these as well. And for my daily strategy, I'm buying Blocks now, which is Nicholas Crypto Income ETF. I believe this is their first ETF, and it gives you Bitcoin and Ether exposure as well as other companies. And also I have Roundhill's WPay, which I really like. Again, it's a fund of funds, kind of like HHIS, like Biggie, like YMAX, right? I really like the fund of funds. And this one gives me access to all of Roundhill's weekly pairs without having to pick and choose which ones I want to buy. So as you can see, guys, according to all the information I plugged in here, and I try to make it as accurately as possible, my book cost is 448,000. Now, I didn't deposit 448,000. I've used distributions to buy more shares, and that increases your book cost. My current value is 426,000, so it's saying that I'm currently down almost 5%. You can see over here, guys, my average dividend yield, according to this, is just under 30%. My annual income will be 131,000, and my monthly income should be just under 11,000. So I'm very happy with that. Guys, this is my stock events. I just wanted to show you this. It kind of, it's basically, you put in all of your holdings, right? You put in all your holdings. You can see here, I just add in whenever I buy a stock or sell a stock, I just update it. And what it does is it calculates based on current distributions what your dividends are. And I like it gives you an annual, it gives you a monthly, a daily, and it shows you your yield and yield on cost. So this is pretty close. I think it's about $100 different than this one, right? So this one says 10,972. This one is 11,057. So yeah, maybe $65, $70 off. And I guess it just depends on how Stock Events is calculating, the distributions and how accurately I put in the information into the other chart. Wanted to show you my Wealth Simple account, guys, because I know a lot of the Excel spreadsheets and charts and graphs and dividend stocks, everything I show you guys, you could say is, just made up. So here is actually my Wealth Simple account. You can see that combined, I have 361,000. The rest of my money is in RBC. You can see here that I'm currently up 97% all time, which is I'm very happy with. 1 month, I'm up 5, almost 6%. Year to date, I'm up almost 16%. So again, I'm fine with that. If you come down here, you can see it does break it up into my TFSA, RSP, and non-registered accounts, as I spoke about before. Well, everybody, that's my portfolio reveal for this month, ending September in 2025. This is my second one, so I hope you all enjoyed it. As you can see, my portfolio value is up. I know we're in a bull market, but I'm just glad that, having a covered call income portfolio, that it's up as well. And my distributions are up. I couldn't be more happier. I just took a quick look to see where was I in January of 2024, and I was just under $4,000 a month. So in 21 months, I've been able to increase it from just under $4,000 to over $10,000. So you can see, guys, that if you stick to it, you keep contributing, you keep buying, you keep reinvesting, you keep upgrading your positions. That's what I call organic growth. You can increase your income significantly. And if you do it for 2 or 3 years, you'll be surprised at how fast it starts to snowball. So I would recommend everybody get onto Blossom. It's a great app. There's over almost 500,000 people on Blossom now. So there's a lot of people to connect with, a lot of information, and it's a good place to be if you're financially minded and you want to be interacting with other people that are similar. Other than that, guys, I'm going to do my real life case study video for the end of September and put that out on Tuesday or Wednesday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And until next time, bye for now.